So, oh man, got ice water starter. So it's a man in the building. In the building, oh, I'm sorry. Hey, I know I'm high.
All right, let's get this thing rolling. Welcome everybody to another episode of the E-Gray Report with yours truly, E-Gray. Another week, another Ready to Love episode. This one was titled, titled Wet and Wild. I'm going to call it the sensitivity episode because just from the jump, everybody was way too damn sensitive in this episode. And that's a problem for me because I don't like overly sensitive men. There's a problem with that. You're a man. Deal with your issues. Don't be too moody, too overly sensitive. And at the beginning of this episode, everybody seemed just way too sensitive. I don't know what the issue was, but they just seemed way too sensitive. First off, I want to thank everybody that has subscribed to the channel. I want to thank everybody that's posted comments. Once again, I'm still thirsty. Take as many subs, many new subscribers and followers on Instagram, on YouTube. I take as many as I can. Once again, I am thirsty. I don't mind thirst trapping a little bit for a couple followers. So once again, I appreciate all the love that I'm receiving. It was nice kind of jumping in the comments with people that posted a couple comments on the last few videos. And then I jumped in a couple comments from other reviewers of the show just to try to kind of get the pitch and see what was going on and what people felt about the previous episode. And I'm going to share a little bit of those back and forth in that discussion I've had. But, you know, let's go ahead and jump into this episode and this review real quick. Like I say, I got my notes. If I'm looking off cameras, because I'm looking at the notes, trying to make sure I'm following this kind of progression. I like to kind of start at the beginning of the episode, work my way down, and it's some things I want to get into, obviously. So let's get started in this. Let's get started into this. First off, this whole pool party. If I'm going to a pool party, I'm going to turn up, have a little fun, you know, network, bounce around with people, keep the energy good, keep the energy live. This was the most depressing pool party I feel like that I've ever seen portrayed on TV. People too sensitive, Mario sensitive, Brent sensitive, you know, it just was all over the place. So let's start off with kind of the first introduction to this pool party. You know, like I said, let's start off with the G Daddy Mario. So initially, he gets into this little back and forth with Tundi about this little squirt comment that she made. I am all for, I don't want to say calling out a woman, but look, essentially calling out a woman on some of the BS that they do. Look, women do some BS sometimes, and a lot of times I don't think men always, I ain't gonna say call them out, but hold them accountable for the BS that they do. But on this occasion, Mario and this whole squirting comment, him pulling her to the side, talking about she making him look stupid out here. You know, obviously there were some more things that probably, you know, fell on the cutting room floor that they didn't put on TV, baby, they couldn't put on TV. But it looked like the woman was out there enjoying herself. She was looking thick, looking sexy. And she made a comment just to get a man's attention. And this dude just overreacted with all this. It started getting all dramatic, and they went and talked inside the house and heard all these tears, and I just couldn't do it. Like, where are all these fake tears coming from, baby girl? I really do think she was drunk. I think she was a little tipsy, having a fun time like as you should at a pool party in the middle of the summer where it's sunny outside and everybody's there having a good time. You know everybody there. Just doing too much. Like this whole G Daddy deal, it was just doing too much. I don't know. And then, of course, you know, in a split second after she said a comment, you know, you heard Alexis' voice talking about you can get all the man's attention with this squirt comment. And it's like, look, bro, you're the last person that should ever be talking about trying to hold somebody's attention. You know you got these fools hanging by a string. So couldn't deal with that. And then I guess to follow up with Alexis, she's still on her player, you know, BS. And at this point, look here, I'm just ready for these niggas to wake up. Figure out what's going on with Alexis. I mean, at this point, you're a grown man. You should have been able to meet and deal with a multitude of different type of women. Come on, man, wake up. Like, she even said it. in the little clip that they had, that she's gonna stick to her script to want these men kind of show themselves to her, which means that she ain't revealing who she really is. So why is she even on the show? I go back to what I said last video about, if I was one of the guys on the show, I would have got, the guys together at some point without even nephew Tommy and said, look here, man, let's hash some of this out. What you think about her? What you think about this one? What you think about Nina? What you think about Ashima? Tundi, all of them. So we can get kind of a clear picture. Not saying that, we need to try to trade secrets of who likes who, but, if a person looks like they're about that BS, it's time for them to move. So, once again, she's still doing her stuff. She's still on her 1-2 thing. And it is what it is. Ashima and Darian. Or Dorian? Is it Darian? Dorian, I think it's Darian. Ashima's just too clingy to Darian. And I think that's on him, to be honest with you. I think he is a passive man who just needs a woman to kind of take control. And he found one with Ashima. Big thing about it is that what is that leaving you with working or trying to find a relationship or a match with anybody else like Nina? And as crazy as I think she is, I think she was 100% spot on how she called out Darian, or kind of just presented it to Darian like, look, man, it's something I want to explore with you, but you so caked up with Ashima. I mean, y'all husband and wife. So where am I or anybody else gonna fit in? And you trying to string me along and run this game. But the truth is, partner, you have made your decision. It looks like it. So, don't make your decision and still be calling me at night, still be texting or contacting me saying there's a chance, or, pillow talking. And it is evident in your action. I can see it. Shima sees it. Everybody else sees it. Y'all are together. And if there's something, Darian, that you don't want, or you haven't just locked down and, okay, this is her, it's a wrap, nobody else, you need to step up and be assertive, man. Like, that's one thing I cannot deal with. I don't like moody men. I don't like men that ain't assertive. Be a man. Women like that. Step up, say what you got to say, get it off your chest and move on. All this being a nice guy and you hugged up with her on the bench, then you coming over trying to talk to Nina, talking about, I like to explore things and it takes time. Time is of the essence. This is a TV show. This is like, 10 episodes? So I assume that's 10 weeks, maybe 11 weeks at the max. And we are eliminating people every week, partner. I don't have time. And I get Nina on that. I give her a lot of credit for just being stand up, pulling him to the side and telling him that. Even though I still think she, that girl is crazier than the $3 bill. She just off to me. She got that twinkle in her eye that it's a little cray in her. But, that's my opinion on that. Next thing up, and I know it seems like I'm kind of going a little fast, but it's something I want to spend a little bit more time on that happened in the middle of the episode, but we'll get to that in a couple of seconds. So, Reva starts off, the first time we see her in this episode, what is she doing? Got her hands oiled up. She rubbing down G-Daddy, touching him, got her legs wrapped all around him in a pool. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, Mario G-Daddy, I hope you don't plan on sending her a text later on that's saying that, I was feeling whatever little sexual tension we had, like Karen, because you know what she gonna do. And I got a problem with that. And that goes back to me saying that I think the BS sometimes that women play, they don't get called out on it enough. Same thing with Carrie, the previous episode before the Textgate situation, when it was clearly seen that she had brought Carrie to the side, or I think they were at maybe the barbecue or something. It was some type of mixing. And she told Carrie straight up, there's only 3 ways to make me, where I feel relaxed. It's church, that's the gun range, and that's a good nut. And so I had this back and forth with a couple of commenters on a couple of different, Ready to Love, YouTube review sites, and even on mine, excuse me, in which, some of the women were talking about Carrie was out of line with what he did, and he just looked like the old creep, and I expect that of him. And I go back to, hold on. So we gonna sit here and we gonna jump on Karen. You're not gonna call Riv out on her BS with that comment. If you are a woman and you start down this road just out the blue with chunking pieces of sex talk and stuff, do not think that I'm not gonna follow. You knew what you was doing. You threw that out there. You was trying to get Carrie's attention. You got him hooked. Y'all was going back and forth. You didn't like the text that he sent. You definitely didn't like the response that he sent, because it was kind of like, he was kind of big timing you and showing you out. And then you're going to play victim. Don't do that. I see it again right now with her and G-Dad on this episode. Once again, G-Dad, just be careful, because she may play the victim role. Like, I didn't know I was doing anything to you. I don't know. But that I didn't like. And so the Reva deal, I'm not just really feeling Reva. It's something about her. I don't like that. I don't like people to throw out mixed messages and mixed signals when you know what you're doing. Then when somebody calls you on it, you don't like that. And we're going to get into that more with the women doing that when we get into this I call him Jimber, this Jimmy and Kimber situation, because I think she was doing something that was kind of foul to me. Divine, once again, she walking around all day long looking like a sad puppy who's pissed off that ain't nobody, running behind her dress tail. And I think that's just her bottom line. She's frustrated. She's used to being the center of attention. She's not the center of attention. She wants London's attention. Once again, London, like Jimmy was, but I think Jimmy's passed on with that, and I'm glad he did. He too damn sprung over Alexis, who was playing every damn body, which none of them seem to be recognizing. And Divine's sitting there like, hold on, what happened to me? I'm light-skinned, curly hair, rich and Puerto Rican. Say something to me. And you can tell she's having a problem with it. She even admits that, this may not be for her. She's having a problem with keeping the attention of who she wants. And that's one of the best things about the show that I do like. It's the fact that you kind of see that dynamic kind of play itself out. You see men having to be upfront and balance off what you're doing as far as talking to multiple women, except you're seeing it in real time. You're seeing it kind of in front of their face. So you can't sit there and say, well, I'm not really hollering at, Divine Alexis, or if I'm, hollering at Divine, I'm not really feeling Alexis. No, it's evident. It's true. It's something that you see. And so, you got to kind of be on point. You got to be upfront. You got to be willing to talk about what's going on and being able to communicate that way. And that's a problem that a lot of men have. It's one of those things that, you can't just tell multiple women that, look, yeah, I'm talking to you, I'm feeling you, but it's somebody else over here that got my attention. I'm trying to explore that and figure out where I want to be at. You tell that in the real world, or without these cameras, without a show based like that, man, you might as well get ready to have your tire slashed, some stuff posted on one of your social medias, anything like that. You're going to get railroaded. So, that's one of the reasons that kind of drew me to the show initially, is because of that dynamic. So at this point, we kind of get into the middle of the episode, and, we see that Mario and Tunde are still going back and forth with this foolishness. I mean, she crying to everybody. Mario, I think he started talking to, was it Alexis? I forgot who Mario was talking to, but I don't know. He's all over the place. Aisha ended up pressuring him later on in the episode, which came back to bite her in the butt. Which I guess I get on Aisha later on, but she mentioned something at the end that I'm gonna pick up on. I'm gonna wait on that. But at the Tunde, once again, she is going around still crying, and like I said, at that point, you're looking like a drunk woman, like you just a little bit too tipsy. You're in your feelings, And I do kind of get her to a point where she was like, look, she's at this pool party, she's opening up, she's having fun. Why are you sitting there kind of spazzing out on me about what I said? I still got my problems with Mario and this whininess. I even get there with Brent. I think that's what I read from Brent when initially with the casting special, that he's kind of just kind of overly emotional, overly sensitive. That's a better word to describe it. And he kind of shows himself that in that light during this episode. And that's one of the things, man. Like I said, the common theme to this episode is sensitivity, but we kind of get into something that I'm gonna spend some time on. This whole Kimber and Jimmy situation. And it wasn't that it was a conflict. It was more of Kimber's response and what she said to Jimmy, what she said to Aisha about the Jimmy comment. Sorry that the sun's in my eye. I hope that didn't change how I look on the camera. But I had a problem with that. And it kind of goes back to originally when I was talking about, Mario, when he kind of called out, or I don't want to say called out. I think when he stepped to Tandy about her and the comments that she made about the squirting comment. My biggest thing is this. So Jimmy and Kimber had this conversation in which I thought that he wasn't being loud. He wasn't being too boisterous. He wasn't seeming as if he was calling attention to himself. It seemed like he was actually trying to talk in a lower tone about this situation with her and her ex-boyfriend, who's in jail, who obviously they've had, her and Jimmy's had conversations about off camera, and the fact that those two are still going back and forth and communicating. So he kind of pressed her a little bit about the situation with the guy. My thing is, I don't think the line of questioning was out of bounds. I don't think it was the wrong place and time for it, because I don't think that he made a scene. I think she started to kind of make a little bit of the scene. I know that the camera crew was kind of cutting back between their conversations and the other cast members. And like I said, I don't know if they could actually hear what they were talking about, or that was just to make things, just to add drama to the situation. I mean, it is a TV show and drama sells, so I don't know. My thing was this, and here's my opinion. I didn't like the fact that she got pissed off. Well, I don't have a problem that she didn't like the question. I don't even have a problem that she walked away from the question. But I had a problem with what she said to Aisha when she went into the house. And I'm always big on this. I hate when women play the victim role. I'm not insensitive to what women go through. Once again, I am a man, and this is always from a man's point of view. But I hate that. And I hate it because it's a double standard. And the double standard is this. If this situation was reversed and Jimmy was talking to an ex or another woman while on this show, off camera, and they was going back and forth and Kimber knew about it, as a black woman, she would have called his ass out on that. And it wouldn't have been as nice as what he did. It would have been dramatic as hell. But you want to get in a house and you want to play this victim role talking about you don't know if you can trust him and he using, things that you told him in confidence against you. That's bullshit. He didn't do that. And then what was further bullshit was the nonsense that Aisha was talking about as far as just the whole communication of, black men don't know how to communicate. No, let's stop that. The truth is this, in my opinion. A lot of times when women kind of confront or trying to check a man, the deal is that you can come off aggressive, but my response has to be docile, and that's because you're a woman. No, I can meet you with the same level of intensity that you met me with. And that's BS for her to sit there and say black men don't know how to communicate. No, you just don't like it when your shit get caught out on the floor. That's what happened with Kimber. You got your ass embarrassed, and you was pissed off and you didn't like the question. Then you try to run and make it seem like Jimmy was trying to use y'all private conversations against you. No, he wasn't. He was asking a legitimate question. You going back and forth with this dude that's locked up. Obviously, you have told Jimmy some things about whatever you doing back and forth. That man has a right to know. Are you still feeling this cat? Are you really ready to move on with me? Despite what Jimmy did afterwards, even though I thought what he did was kind of some bum stuff, and that goes back to these men being overly sensitive. I don't like that. Him kind of stepping to her when her and Carrie was talking and all that yin yang that he was talking. That's uncalled for. I don't like that. And my thing is, you put yourself in a weak state. You made your point when you initially confronted her about this situation with her and her ex-boyfriend who's locked up. You did what you had to do. And that was smart. You did it the right way. You should have left that alone. And just, if you was going to leave, just chunk deuces and go. She would have felt it. Trust me, she knew that you was leaving. But the way you left, it changed your leverage or your position of strength and it made you look weak. and perception is reality. And in a situation like that, people like to look like they're the ones who was standing on essentially the position of truth, and it made her look like she was standing on a position of truth. And you saw even in some clips, and I know it went on and on. It was probably more dramatic and more of a scene than what we saw. She definitely was trying to feed into that to other people, to Aisha, that look, I don't care about his leaving. Maybe it's time for him to leave. Nah, it wasn't his problem. I think it was your problem. You need to deal with the fact that you didn't like the line of question because he asked you the truth. You wasn't ready or didn't want to say it because you knew you was going to end up looking like a fool, especially, to people that know you in your private life. I mean, if I'm one of your friends, I'm probably sitting there saying, you still checking for this cat that's in jail? I thought you was over that. Obviously, you're not. So, like I said, man, I go back to this whole thing with communication between men and women, especially with black men and women, with this whole just how you communicate. Please don't expect at any point, if you confront a man in a assertive or aggressive tone, that for some reason he's going to fall back and he's going to handle you different. At that point, it is kind of a fight or flight instinct. And if you're going to handle me rough, as a man, I'm going to handle you back. That's not saying you're going to be over aggressive. Now, you're going to say I'm going to put my hands on you and all this other stuff. But y'all got to get out of that concept of, well, I'm a woman, you shouldn't talk to a woman like that. Even with Ashima, the last time with old dude Chika, who got kicked off. Even though I thought Chika was totally wrong with what he said, like I said in that episode review, I appreciate the fact that he confronted her in real time. You saw it again with Ashima when she was trying to fix this whole situation with Tundi and Mario. You overstepping what you're supposed to be doing. You sitting here trying to play this mama role where you're bringing everybody to the sofa and we're going to work this out as a family. Maybe that's not your role. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Like I said, I would love to hear it from the comments. What you think about, especially you ladies out there, what you think about that, my response to it. But, at the end of the day with Kimber, I just think it was the fact that she didn't like being called out on the table. Like many women don't like it, and it don't feel good. One of my favorite saying is, look, it's not fun when the rabbit got the gun. And that means, kind of this ideal of people going to go hunting. And, it's easy to go hunting when you go and shoot rabbits and you got a gun. It's different if you went hunting and the animal that you was trying to hunt had a gun. All of a sudden it's equal and it's not fun. It's not fun when it's balanced. And I think that's what a lot of women don't understand. It is not fun when somebody confronts you and call you out on your BS. And women love to try to do that to men. So, it's just something you got to think about. So essentially the episode goes on. Jimmy leaves and we get to this Aisha. We get to Aisha. We'll talk about Aisha later. Let's get to the cigar bar. So the guys get back to the cigar bar and they start making this decision about who needs to go, who needs to stay. You can tell that Jimmy is struggling with the Kimber situation. I think he realized that, hey, man, I kind of played that as a weak move when I left. And, he's trying to get her back as far as getting her attention, texting her, trying to communicate, apologizing. But my thing is this: if you approaching her about the truth turns her off, that she ain't the person for you. That means we can't have a serious conversation about what's going on. And once again, that's an issue with a lot of women. And I always felt that way, with dealing with women. If I'm not allowed to approach you and call some things on the carpet and be able to tell you what I don't like and what I need answered, and you got a problem with that, and that ends in a silent treatment, then we need to chunk the deuce. And that's another thing that I think Jimmy needs to, not even just Jimmy, a lot of men need to do. When women start doing the silent treatment stuff, or they go on silent on you, stop chasing them. Stop that. All that is conditioning. Because they're doing that for you to give them a certain response. Eventually, she's going to call you back or let you know, or text back. But, man, after a text, she don't respond back, you need to chill. Because if you start chasing her now, you start showing these signs of conditioning in which, okay, I did something that, you obviously didn't like. So because of that, I'm going to go through these series of measures or steps to get your attention. And she responds to that eventually. It's like a checkmate. She's going to use that strategy all the time with you. And, I just hope Jimmy realized that. So essentially they go on and we get to the point where we're going to have eliminations. And the eliminations, I'm not going to say there's any suspense to it, but, essentially it was Nina and it was Aisha. The Nina situation, it's like, look, I think Nina is an attractive woman. Like I said, I love that beautiful chocolate skin. I love that short hair. I mean, just her stature. She's attractive. I think there's some things she got to work on. I do think she was probably ready to meet somebody. I just think the batch of guys on this year sucks. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's too many passive men on here. I think Nina on last season or the first season, I think she would have met somebody. Just on this season, I think it's too many passive men. I just really do. Like these, I think some of these dudes just suck. Even in the cast as a whole, I'm not feeling the cast really. Too many of these women they got too much going on as far as just perception, as far as, I don't want to call it self-esteem, but look, it's the second season. Obviously, you have watched the show through the first season. And this is for the women's side. You know that these men are going to have to divide their attention up in between multiple women. So why are you getting so frustrated with that? That's number one. Number two, for the men, once again, you had to watch the show last season to want to be on the show. How did you not realize at some point you're going to have to be transparent with these women through this process? And I think that's the point of the show. It forces you to do that. It forces men on the show to be transparent. And I think it forces the women to have to deal with the fact that, you know what, you're not the only one. You know you're not the only one. How are you going to deal with that? Are you going to turn into a bratty little girl? Or are you going to be a woman about it and say, look, you know what? I'm confident in what I show. I'm confident in the time that I spend with this person. And either they're going to make it that decision or not. And I'm going to be comfortable with it because I know that I've shown everything that I need to show to this man, for him to make that right choice. And like I said, for the men, for the brothers, vice versa, you're going to have to be transparent and be upfront and tell them what's going on. So as far as the Nina being eliminated, you kind of saw that coming a mile away. Like I said, I think she could have easily been eliminated the first episode. They could have kept Angie or somebody a little bit longer, which kind of leads me into Aisha. Aisha gets eliminated because essentially the men told her, I think that was my boy London. But London told her, like, look, you were just a little bit too aggressive for some of the men. And so she calls him out. She was like, nah, I didn't know which one it was. It was Brent. But the truth of the matter is that she's right, number one. It was Brent. And I think Brent was the reason that Angie got kicked off also. And that goes back to, once again, these sensitive, passive men. Like, I don't understand that rationale. I don't get it. And, for Dorian, I think that I hope, well, let me not say I hope, because I don't want anybody to lose out on the situation they think may be good for them. But if I was these women, man, Brent and Dorian be gone, man. We're going to get all the sensitive bugaboos up out of here, man. We can't have that. Can't have no sensitive men all on the episode trying to figure out what's going on. You too passive. You don't know what decisions to make. I get rid of all the sensitive men if I was a woman. But I do agree with what Brent said about Aisha. And I think this is what really got her kicked off. I don't think she was too aggressive. I think she was bouncing around too much, like Mario said. Or was it Mario or was it OG Carey? The point is, you can't have been talking to another man and been connecting. And I understand Brent, like what Brent said. Essentially, you used the same game with me that you were starting to do with Mario. And the fact that with Mario, you came, you sat down in his lap, and you had this all going on. And like Mario says, like, look, man, at this point, 2 women, I'm kind of dealing with the feeling is enough. 3 is too many. And I think that was just her biggest, I think that was the biggest check mark in the wrong box for her. She was kind of utilizing the same tool, which is her sexiness, because she's a sexy little, small, little, dynamic firecracker, using that to her advantage. And these men was like, look, you're doing the same thing, and I'm seeing it in my face, so definitely I'm not going to rock with that. That's just my opinion. But real quick, before I let y'all go, before I get up out of here, here's the biggest thing I want to get on to. And I'm gonna stay on her. I'm gonna stay on Alexis. It was that small little clip, the preview before the next episode, or previewing the next episode, when essentially the last clip of it was Alexis, and she was trying to, they kind of spliced together all these men that's still feeling her, and the fact that she was just saying, you know, I'm still left here with all these guys that's feeling me, and I'm just gonna make one of them present themselves. I told y'all. I told you. I told you about Alexis. I would have got her ass up out of there 2 episodes ago if I was these guys. She is player. She is player. Straight player. You can see it. You can smell it. I can smell it off the camera. I'm just trying to figure out, and I get it when you're up close and you probably see her in person. It's hard. It's hard to kind of get that idea through your head. But it's like, man, y'all have to wake up and y'all gonna have to figure out Alexis. And I just wonder at what point are they all gonna get together? I don't know if it's at the end, the last episode. They're gonna get together and they're gonna have to say, you know what, Alexis ain't really here for this, for the purpose of finding somebody. She not. And I told you, watch and see. Alexis is gonna play this game. She's gonna string you along until she figure out. If it's not what she can get out of it, you're going to end up being bounced. And I also told you about OG Carrie. That OG Carrie going to play this game until the wheels fall off. And you never know. The connection may be her and OG Carrie, because she may need an OG that knows some game, that has been through some things, that has seen it. And, maybe he can, like I said, it was a scene where he was charming her and he was shooting that game at her. He asked her if it was a jet fired up, where we want to go. So maybe she needs somebody with some old school game. Maybe Carrie's the one that can tame that line. But the rest of these dudes, if I was Jimmy, if I was London, if I was Brent, if I was Mario, I think those really the only 4. Because I think Carrie may be feeling that Darian just, hell, he with Mama Ashima over there. I would be saying to myself, we got to get this broad up out of here. Because she ain't. It's just something about her that I just don't trust. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. Tuning in through my rambling through this last video. Hope it wasn't too long. Comment, like, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. Like I said, it's going to be posted somewhere. I'm always linking it in bio or on the screen. Efren.grade Instagram. Follow me. Subscribe. Leave comments, likes. I like to have debates. I like going back and forth with the comments. And follow me. I'm out. Peace.